So next up, we've got Tara Hungerford. Actually, Tara comes from this power creative family, so Jesse's actually going to be performing later, and Jesse is her sister. So, and then she just told me that her brother is this like huge startup mogul guy. I don't know. I guess it's genetics in there. But anyway, so filmmaker Tara Hungerford has produced original content for networks including CBC, Knowledge Network, Bravo, and MTV, and built her own company, Two Story Productions. With her husband, Eric Hogan, they have created a children's television series, Scout and the Gumboot Kids, for Kids CBC. That's going to be airing later this year. The show is inspired by their two young children, Wilfred and Paris. Please join me in welcoming Tara to the stage.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for having me today, Christine and your amazing team. It's been a well-oiled machine run by women who have made such an effort to make this all come together. This place feels so safe and so cozy, even though there's, I think, 200 people here. I'm going to forget the cue cards and just go off the cuff. Why not? But I also want to thank the previous women who have given me tons of tips. And I'm just so grateful to be here. I don't actually get out much, so this is actually kind of a mini vacation. I co-parent, as she mentioned, with my husband, Eric Hogan. I do not parent alone. I have an amazing village that I've really cultivated and had to as a working mom. And I just, it's been amazing how relationships really change as you have children, and how I was reflecting a lot on what's different now as a mom. I've been a mom for 6.5 years, and I'm still learning so much from other moms, but also I would say what's changed the most, and this is going to sound kind of weird, but is my relationship with time. I don't know if that makes sense to everyone else, but I used to think I kind of had it all sorted out. Like I got things done really quickly and I could knock things off the list. I kind of owned my time, although there's a bigger picture, and I never really understood that Dali picture with the melted clocks until I had kids. You know, I was like, oh, I'd never have I totally get that picture in my mind whenever I completely can't believe that it's dinner time again, which I never thought about that. I was like, what? I thought it was Friday and it's Tuesday. And I can't believe I'm still playing critters on the floor and it's only been 10 minutes. So it's like time has been really complex. And I also have been very conscious of how valuable time is, because time does move fast. And as a working mom, I've really had to figure out what I want to do with my time. And a pivotal moment, I think, for my husband and I was a Sunday, and my husband had to go into work. I had the two little ones. I dragged them to the park from our condo, which sometimes can take like years, it feels like. We were living on the 7th floor, so we often went to the park down the street. And I remember I was so exhausted. I was just so fried. I hate to use that expression, but I actually felt like I was about to implode. And so my daughter fell asleep in the stroller. I think she was about 6 months. And my son, who was obsessed with the swing, wanted to get in the swing. And I looked around and there was no one else there. So I actually lay on the ground underneath my son with my arm around my daughter's stroller wheel in case someone tried to snatch it. And I actually think I had a snooze while pushing the swing with a knee and texting my husband saying, I don't think this is working. We need to make some changes. Like, I don't think this is normal. This isn't what I went into. I didn't. So I felt like we had chronic headaches. We were feeling gross. We were feeling tense and stressed, yet we had it all. You know, it was like, ah. So we dug in, and actually my husband, who was quite concerned as well, I really, like, my thyroid was out. I was such a mess. Like, we really were barely getting by. And very grateful, obviously, but he Googled meditation business coach. And I'm not joking, 2 blocks away from where we lived and worked, there was a meditation coach who also worked with people who ran their businesses. We're like, oh my gosh. Anyway, long story short, we basically fell onto her floor a couple of days later, and we got a chance to really look at our life from an outside perspective. And when you're young, when you've got young ones, you don't get a chance to really look at your world. You're constantly reacting. It's so tiring and it's so hard. And yes, you have a village, and yes, it's amazing, but you're really overwhelmed. And so this gift from this woman, Tammy, who's actually here, which is amazing. It just reinforces how, you know, when you ask the universe, sometimes those things really do come to you, and we were at a place where we needed help. Long story short, my husband and I decided to reevaluate our lives and become, as best we can, mindful parents. And we started to really look at what we were creating as content creators. There's so much out there. We decided we'd create a show that we as parents would like to watch. It actually really worked because we got to research what would make us better parents. Long story short, there's always long stories. A few years later now, we have a show for Kids CBC. They took a huge chance on us about a television series for preschool children and their families that infuses nature and mindfulness into a show. And it's a 4-minute show that is really a bridge from your family room to the outdoors. So it's not a long half-hour show. But we really wanted to make something that inspired parents as well, that didn't make you want to knock your head up against the wall. And I hope we've succeeded. I brought a few clips that are just the mindful moments in the show, just a little, I think it's a minute clip. And we'll make sure that audio is up, because when we tested it today, it needed to be up. I am a director, I can't help it. But, so there's a few little clips here. It's for preschoolers, but it's also for families. And believe it or not, I've learned so much from this little mouse that we've created called Scout the Mouse. He's a stop motion animation character. You'll see him. He's 8 inches high, and he's very wise. And we'll show some clips now. Oh, it's me who does it. Oh, goodness, great, awesome. Okay, just.
Now let's pause and have a mindful moment.
So, yeah, thanks. So those were clips. That's not the whole show. I just was trying to pull out a few mindful moments and simple mindful exercises. The music's actually by Jessie Farrell, my sister, who's going to play later. But a person who also really inspired me, who's talking today, who writes very mindful poems about moments in time, is Sam Reynolds. So she's another inspiration behind the show. But I just want to say mindfulness is a long journey. I am not an expert on mindfulness. I'm still learning. But what I did find was that when we focus on the present, and when we use our different senses other than our eyes with our children, using our noses, our ears, our hands, suddenly everything becomes easier and everything becomes more memorable. And so I just, in terms of time and this whole concept of time, I feel like having young children, the irony is when I stepped out and looked back in, I was able to really figure out a way to manage time better, but also to really hold on to what's valuable, which is being present with our children when we are, especially outside, and when we take their lead, because children are naturally mindful, and we as parents, because of the way that the world is moving just so fast, and technology's on our side, but it can also play against us as being present parents. If we can just slow down and do what we can to really hold on to those moments, I just feel like, we'll be better off. So thanks for listening, and I can't wait to hear everybody else. Thanks.